How do I get into an Ivy League school? That's the question I asked my admissions counselors back in high school, and they couldn't give me a straight answer. So I had to figure it out for myself, and figure it out I did. If you don't know who I am, my name's Meek. I own MeekExtraHelp.com, where every year I coach students to an Ivy League admission. So let's get started on answering this question. First, I want to give us a short answer, and then we're going to do a longer answer later in the video. So the short answer here is you need to stand out, okay? Now, to understand what I mean by this, let's backtrack a little bit and let's talk about exactly how college admissions works. So on other schools that aren't the most competitive in the nation, schools that aren't top 20, top 10 Ivy League, generally it's based on, oh, hey, this kid has good test scores, he's in some good clubs, he has good involvement, he has a high GPA, let's admit him. It's a very numbers-based game. It's very based on, hey, this kid has higher test scores than this kid, we're going to admit the kid who has higher test scores, okay? But when you get into the top 10, when you get into the Ivy League, everyone has fantastic test scores. Everyone has a perfect GPA, okay? So you need to find other metrics by which to decide who to admit. When you're going into the Ivy League, you're competing with the top 3 kids in every high school from all high schools, both in the US and from abroad, because keep in mind, you're also competing with international applicants who are trying to come into the Ivy League. So to stand out means not just having, your 1600 SAT, your 36 ACT. Those are great, those are good, we should get those. But you're competing with other people who have 1600 SATs, who have 36 ACTs. Maybe not that high, you're competing 35 ACT, 1560 SAT. Regardless, standing out means you need to have something unique on your application. Standing out means you need to have something on your application that no one else in the applicant pool has, or that one other person in the applicant pool has. Something that's rare, something that grabs the admissions officer's attention. So let's get into this longer answer of how to stand out. So to get more specific into college admissions, you are ranked in 5 categories for deciding who a college should admit. Number 1 is academics. Number 2 is extracurriculars. I'm going to link a video up here that we made about how to get good extracurriculars and what colleges want from your extracurriculars. 3 is athletics. 4 is personal. We're going to get into exactly what all of these mean in just a moment. 5 is your recommendation letters. Okay? So if you've never heard of the college admissions process before, you need to write a college essay that's going to go into your personal category. You need to get letters of recommendation from teachers in high school and maybe your college admissions counselor. That's going to go in the recommendation letters category. Academics is going to include your test scores on SAT, ACT. And I think the others are self-explanatory. One thing that students don't like to see a lot of is athletics. Don't be scared by it. If you have terrible athletics, if you don't play any sports, it's not going to hurt you. If you have average athletics, it's not going to help you. If you have fantastic athletics, you're a very good player on your varsity team, you can be a recruited athlete. And that could be your ticket into the Ivy League. We don't coach kids on how to get onto the varsity team, okay? We're not great athletic coaches ourselves. But we really, really specialize in everything else. Okay? Academics has 3 components. Component 1 is your GPA. Component 2 is your test scores, SAT, ACT. Component 3 is a little bit more of a nebulous concept, and that's course rigor. So what do we mean when we say course rigor? That's why I'm here, by the way, so I can translate, unheard of at college admissions jargon into English that you can understand. Course rigor is how hard are the classes that you took in high school, okay? Class difficulty falls into 3 categories. You can have regular, you can have honors, you could have AP. AP being the hardest, honors being the second hardest. Okay? Colleges want to see that you took AP classes, you took honors classes, you took the hardest classes that were available to you. Because what they're gleaning from this, what they're trying to understand about you, is that you are not afraid of a challenge. You are willing to step up to something that is harder. Okay? If a student is offered the choice between AP chemistry and honors chemistry, they want the student who is not afraid to take on more work and a harder course. Okay? That's the personality assessment that they're trying to make from this. And more so, of these three categories and their contribution to your academic score, course rigor is the most important. Course rigor is more important than your GPA. So what that means is, if you want to take an AP class or an honors class and you think it's going to hurt your GPA a little bit, you should take it. Because having a higher score here is better than having a higher score here. Anyway, there's a little bit more nuance to it. And when I say that, I mean they are concerned with specifically how hard the classes are that you took out of what you were offered. So an example of that is, let's say your school doesn't offer any AP classes. They're not going to disadvantage you for that. What they say is, okay, your school doesn't offer any AP classes. Did you take all honors classes? And that would be, the highest level of course rigor that you would be able to submit. If your school offers a lot of AP classes, they're going to look. Did you take all the AP classes that you could have? So maxing out course rigor means maxing out the course path that is available to you in your specific high school, okay? And some students, what I like to do with them with my clients is I like to tell them, hey, you know what's a really good thing you can do that a lot of kids don't do that is really useful for compensating in the academic category? How about you self-study an AP class? How about you show initiative and enroll in an AP class at your local high school without, the accompanying teacher in your course section? And how about you teach yourself the course? And how about you get a good score on the AP exam? So that's the run-through of the academics category, okay? Now, the academics category is not a place where you can generally stand out. It's generally what we consider your entry ticket to college applications in the Ivy League, okay? When we say that, we mean all of the students who are applying to the Ivy League have fantastic GPAs. They have fantastic test scores. They're taking the hardest classes that are available to them. So with these super competitive schools, a machine reads your application before a human gets their hands on it. So if a machine reads like 3.6 GPA, like 89 GPA, 1400 SAT, your application is getting thrown out before a human even has the chance to see it. So the point I'm trying to make is that having fantastic academics is not standing out. Having fantastic academics gets you on the table. It's what gets you looked at in the first place, okay? Having that 1570 SAT, having that 98 GPA, that 4.0 GPA, taking all the hardest classes you can. That's what gets you looked at, because everyone has that. We are dealing with a very, very competitive applicant pool. And the way you stand out is you stand out in these other categories, okay? And not all the categories are weighted equally. Academics and extracurriculars are probably weighted about the same, each about 35 to 40% of your application. So once you max out the academics category, like everyone else in the applicant pool, you really got to focus here. And this is where a lot of children do decide to stand out, because it's the easiest and it's the most significant way to stand out. Okay, we do have a video that we made on standing out over here, and I'm going to link that above. We also have a video about writing your personal essay up there. Standing out in any of these categories is good. Standing out in more than one is even better. Okay, we already talked about being a recruited athlete, You can have a very fantastic personal category. I've seen examples of, standing out in the personal category means like you're famous or something, or you have this really big YouTube channel, or you have a very popular website, or, you're a social media influencer. And that's really hard to do. So we direct our clients to stand out in ways that are more under their control. Okay? In your recommendation letter, standing out, there was a Harvard lawsuit back in 2023 where they were forced to release documents pertaining to how they rated applicants and how they decided who to admit. And in that document, it's a document we share with all of our clients, they detailed specific quotations that they wanted to see in your recommendation letter to rank you very highly, or to say that this is like a standout recommendation letter. Particularly, they wanted to see superlatives. They wanted to see the word best. Okay? So in pursuing anything, meaningful that you want to do, there's two steps. There's knowing what to do and then working at it really hard. Knowing how to stand out, like knowing what is really amazing, is not hard. You can imagine, oh, hey, like I invented a drug. Okay, it's not hard to know how to stand out. And don't think you're going to try and find something that's easy, an easy way to stand out, because if it were easy, everyone would be doing it. You just need to put in the work. Writing a fantastic essay. Writing a fantastic essay in and of itself is not how you stand out. Writing a fantastic essay about something really fantastic you did is a really good way to stand out. So you first need to have the fantastic story to tell. Okay, and you can manufacture your own stories. You can talk about how you took a trip to a third world country and you were so moved by what you saw there that you started a charity organization. Okay, one concept that I want to leave you guys with is put yourself in the admissions officer's shoes. Think about why colleges choose who to admit based on these criteria. The college wants to serve its own interests. And what are the college's interests? Basically, it has two, and they all stem from producing one kind of student. They want to produce people who are famous. They want to produce people who are going to change the world. They want to produce people who do great things, so that those great people become incredibly wealthy and donate back to the school. And number two, the school can say, hey, look at all the good things this guy or this girl has done for humanity. We made that student. We deserve the credit for their achievements. So the school has two self-serving interests. Okay? Now, these fantastic people might be 1 in a million people, right? You don't have to be that guy. All you need to do is convince the school that you might be that kind of guy. Is like, hey, this kid is taking initiative, taking the hardest classes. This kid is taking initiative, starting his own passion projects. He seems like the kind of guy who can do great things. So maybe the school takes the 1 in a million student, and by deciding who to admit, they narrow it down to 1 in 1,000, and they admit 4,000 students. Okay? You don't need to be this huge celebrity figure. You just need to do the things that an admissions officer could see this and say, hey, this student seems like the kind of student who would go on to do great things later in life. And then by all means, do the great things. It's up to you. It's your life. You lead it how you please. But I hope that you gain something valuable from this video in your admissions process. That being said, have a fantastic day.